Hey there guys, it's Ben here from GameRVW.com. It's time once again for another weekly news roundup, so without any further ado, let's get on with this week's stories. First up, UK Parliament has published a report recently called the Immersive and Addictive Technologies Report, which, amongst other things, recommends that loot boxes in video games should fall under gambling legislation, which means that they shouldn't be allowed to be bought by anyone who's under the age of 18. Now, we are aware that this report was published in the latter part of the previous week, however we thought it was a significant enough news story for the UK to include in today's weekly roundup, so we are aware this was technically a report from last week. The report talked about several potentially damaging aspects of the video game industry, mainly focusing on business practices that could affect vulnerable groups such as minors and those with gambling addictions, but loot boxes in particular draw pretty heavy scrutiny from the results of this report. Up until this point, loot boxes have not come under UK gambling legislation, as they were told that they do not have a monetary value, nor are they a cash prize in themselves. Even though there are often unofficial markets to trade items on, they don't fall under UK gambling legislation, so any legislation following this report may seek to change that so that they do fall under that UK gambling law. All in all, I think this is actually a very well done report and suggests some good pieces of legislation that government could hopefully enact. Loot boxes by their nature entice players with the potential of getting rare and coveted items, which causes issues when you've got groups such as minors and groups who are, say, vulnerable, sort of gambling addicts or something like that, playing a game which involves a loot box store or something like that. The summary of the report notes that most people who play video games have a positive experience doing so, and it also notes that those carrying out the report had difficulty getting clear answers from industry figures. Quote from paragraph 1 of the conclusions and recommendations section, quote, "Having struggled to get clear answers and useful information from companies across the games industry," unquote. Not only will legislation help regulate business practices, this report is an example of the industry being taken seriously by elected politicians, which is always a good thing. In more legal news, Valve has recently lost a court case in France regarding the resale of Steam games. The court has ruled that under European law that Valve's clause preventing users from reselling games purchased on Steam is unlawful. For clarity's sake, the text you're seeing here was a translation of French coverage of this news, so it's possible someone may challenge the text, although I'm not yet aware of anyone doing something like this. According to this translation, Valve have to remove the clause, and to post a judgment on Steam for the next 3 months. Valve has stated that they will appeal this decision and told PC Gamer in a quote, "The decision will have no effect on Steam while the case is on appeal." They will have only 1 month to comply or face a penalty of €3,000 per day for up to 6 months. This is an interesting piece of news, and now that this ruling has to be posted on Steam and that the results of this ruling are going to become known to Steam users because they're going to find out about, hey, why does this French user get to resell his games? This is of course assuming that Valve's appeal is unsuccessful. It could leave Valve to actually take a policy of allowing reselling of games across their platform, which would be quite a major step. Death Stranding has made an appearance at quite a few conventions this year, with the title and its maker both showing up firstly at Gamescom in Germany and recently at the Tokyo Game Show, where there was an hour-long gameplay video for people to sink their teeth into. The game has drawn quite a lot of interest, and as the nature of the title is quite unorthodox and the coverage at the TGS was in Japanese, GameSpot has put together a roundup of what we know so far. I'm not going to go through this one as it really just be iterating what another writer has already said. However, this article does break down everything quite nice into segments about the setting, the story, the gameplay mechanics, and some things that Kojima has said about the concepts that the title is kind of meant to represent. So the link to this will be in the description, so if you are interested in Death Stranding but you want to try and make some more sense of it, I'd recommend you go check this one out. Minecraft's character creation has hit Bedrock Beta. The dev stated that this was actually a feature that was designed for Minecraft Earth, but decided to include it for the Bedrock version of WoW. It's been made clear that these are purely cosmetic designs and they won't have any bearing on the actual gameplay, and any custom skins you've acquired will remain available, although you won't be able to customise these on the character creation feature, with the exception of Steve and Alex. Minecraft still has a pretty strong following, so there will be no doubt a lot of people who are interested in this. Plus it will probably also likely generate some interest for Minecraft World, in which this feature is obviously also going to be present. Finally, according to this piece of news from GamesIndustry.biz, Epic paid €9.45 million, or approximately $10.5 million, for exclusivity on the recently released Control. This information was gathered from a 505 Games company financial report, and the translation of this was confirmed by Daniel Ahmed from Nico Partners. Apologies Daniel if I've pronounced your surname wrong there. Who stated on Twitter, the payment from Epic was 100% for Control and was for the exclusivity deal. Interesting bit of news here, we know that Epic likes to try and get this exclusivity for PC titles, but getting a specific figure on a single title is kind of noteworthy. Now that this figure is out there, I'm actually wondering what kind of effect this will have on any Epic future exclusivity deals. On the one hand, seeing how much Epic are willing to pay out may entice other developers or publishers to follow suit, but it also may put off gamers from buying from the Epic store if they're rather unhappy with how much the company are willing to pay to secure exclusivity deals. So this one could go either way. And that's your lot for this week. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Please check out the other videos, check out the website, and I will see you next time.